Welcome to our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in the Points of Light. When last we left our heroes, they defeated the gargantuan worm, extracted treasure from its insides, sent word of their success back to Hammerfast, and settled for a rest outside the tunnel where so much violence had occurred. They discussed the merits of self-sacrifice and the value of planning. Then they gathered around their Warforged for a deeper study of how their core has evolved and influenced certain items that they'd carried for some time. So, Siege, the metal plates of your torso had retracted, your living wood is exposed, and you don't have a mechanism that you can control to shift it out of the way. You can move your plates because you have the capacity to integrate new metal armor in case it's damaged, or in case you want an upgrade or modifications for reasons of stealth. So the only one who's had experience messing around with your innards is Johan. But I don't know if anybody else wants to try and get involved and shift what would be the musculature in another creature, the fiber of wood.
I think Lena would probably, she would not interfere in the process, but she's going to take very detailed notes and sketches of basically everything in the structure, just because it's the first time she actually sees the structure in person, so that is basically
Can you make
her thing.
copies of that you are sketching?
Well, I don't know. I may make copies of that, but
What do you want? Don't beat around the bush.
here.
I have a patient here. I'm
No.
operating.
You'd be asking for a commission, and there's usually a fee for it, but we can talk about it later. I can definitely do it. But yeah, there will be a commission fee.
I don't trust this.
I trust her.
Thank you, I trust you too. And she continues
Sketching maniacally.
The thing that is remarkable, Lena, is you looked at the sketches and notes of the study of Siege's body in the many decades where it was deactivated. And what you're looking at doesn't match what you saw and read.
Okay.
The wood is, you see why it's called living wood, because it's not moving in the way that with the breathing as the muscles of a living creature would be, but it feels alive in a way that you haven't seen. This is like if you had cut all the way deep into a tree and got to see it in operation. Like as the trunk of the tree transfers nutrients from the roots up along the boughs and then back down as photosynthesis happens on the leaves. Like you are watching a process happen much slower than seeing blood pumping and nerves making muscles twitch, but there is a feeling of life in these growths within Siege.
Is there
Answer-
anything?
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Is there anything in my studies that could help me determine what kind of energy this is?
You can make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Wait, Hold on. You guys have plenty of time. So if you're going slowly, just tell me what your Arcana modifier is, and I'll tell you what you can learn.
For some reason, you allowed me to roll Arcana with my Charisma, so it's +8.
Yeah, because you're a bard. Sure. So you're looking at it, and it's...
My Arcana is +1.
Yeah, because you're a barbarian. So
Exactly.
you can't roll Arcana with your strength,
I know.
even though that would be a fun character.
I'll punch the weave.
Reveal to me your secrets!
You're gonna
Cast
get
a
it.
spell.
Misra, you better tell me the truth right now. Also,
Okay.
thank you, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
Yes. So, the thing that is most similar is some of the druidic magic that you've seen in Hammerfest. There is a druid who lives there. She has a tower. She tends to some of the trees. She occasionally participates in some of the rites of Pelor and related to the growth of natural life. But it's different in the sense that these fibers they're not in a process of growth. They are not expanding in the way that a tree infused with nature would be. They are bounded, perhaps. They are limited to their function. So if they were damaged, they are able to restore themselves, but they are not. This is wood that is not of a tree, and yet it is alive. And that is very strange to you. And living wood, like all wood is alive, right? If it's part of a tree, it's alive until you cut it down, and even then there's still some process happening. So the reason it's referred to as such is because it can be worked into different shapes. So you could create probably a ship out of living wood, and it would be an entity made out of wood that would, if it was damaged, would regrow into the shape of a ship. Right? And like the mast for the sails would be part of its natural state. You would have to guide the growth in a way that is very... The only thing that's a little similar is the way you've heard that elves are able to guide the growth of trees so that they can live in them. But it's still a tree. Like, trees have hollows. It's just instead of small enough for a bird or a squirrel, they're huge trees that have spaces for elves. But this is like if the way dwarves work with metals, where they take the ore and they refine it and then they smelt it and put it into a mold, and you still get something that's made out of metal but in the shape that you have before. That way with wood. So it's not as simple as putting a seed into a mold and having it grow into that, because they are somehow telling the wood, this is the shape that you should grow into. Like, you are not a tree, you are a shape. Or in this case, you are not a tree, you are...
Siege.
The musculature. Yeah, you are siege.
All right.
Answer me this, DM. I worked on the body of Sam that
Yes.
has regenerative qualities, but it's not the same that I am
Not at
seeing
all.
here. What is the nature of the regeneration that Sam has?
What Sam has is an incredibly detailed matrix that binds its metal components and its wooden components such that when they are damaged, they are still mostly parts of Sam, and they can be mended much in the way that mending or even fabricate could repair things back to their original state. So there is something similar in the way that you had to create a save state, like this is what Sam should look like, and the regeneration works to bring it back to that.
Like a template.
Yes,
That we
correct.
are working here. So, you see that. Okay, Sage. I need to
Yes.
do some testing. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
I'm going to pull out a dagger.
I feel like more detailed information is required for informed consent.
It's not
I'm
the
going-
first time that Johan made
I'm
some
going to-
experiment with me.
I want a part of your metal, a part of your wood. That sounds wrong. a part of your musculature made of wood. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go towards Johan and I'll assist if CG is alright with that.
Wait.
And I want some of the sap in your interior that I know that you have. You have some kind of liquid functioning like blood on a system.
Wait. Is something wrong with me?
No. It's all right. Actually, I used that model on my zombies back there. It's really
Then why
brilliant.
Why do you need some part of me?
Because before I didn't know what
Curiosity.
I was looking for. Yeah, curiosity. We want to know, and we need to cut some parts of Siege and see how it regenerates.
You need that to understand why my core changed the spear.
No, I needed to understand your body.
I would say want more than need.
Some.
Yes.
You're very correct.
Wait, we're not doing this to get to understand the spear?
I think that in order to understand the spear, we need to understand the whole, the siege.
A
Inside?
holistic understanding of the creature is likely to yield more interesting results. Go
Yeah.
ahead and roll insight.
I'm
Can
sorry.
I roll insight for that?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I don't have very good insight, but
actually,
Alejandro,
would
you
Lina
feel
roll
free to
insight
roll
into
if you
this?
want, persuasion or deception or whichever you want without telling us. Or you can act as a DM and just see the results and choose to reveal how much you want.
Lina's not gonna roll because she has a very clear idea.
26.
You know that maybe Johan has some ulterior motives for the studying of siege.
Okay, but the question is, are those ulterior motives aligned? What with
Yeah.
what with
With the
what-
goal that we started doing the research, yeah, they are
Okay.
lying. But I have ulterior motives.
I mean, wait, are they lying about that, or they are aligned?
They are.
It's more like-
Oh, they're aligned. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
It's
So
like-
then,
You're having
No.
water leaks from your light bulbs. So in theory, it would be useful to have a full plan of the pipes of the house. But there are you don't necessarily need it. Like you're looking at this one light bulb that is leaking, and like, well, the water is probably coming from the pipes, but that's not the important issue right now.
okay. With that information, Kelda would say would say to Siege. I mean, you know, Johan, he's taking the long way around.
but I'm here.
What he says?
Metaphorically,
No.
the long way around to have a full understanding.
Oh,
He's
now I
not going to
understand.
get the answer directly, but I think he could get the answer. He has shown results beforehand. He's smart enough with this kind of things.
Why the
I
sudden
believe you-
lack
you-
of faith?
I believe you killed our commander. Johan, you're
What?
authorized. But
Okay.
I'm giving you.
But-
I'm trusting in you, my dude. I'm just saying he needs to understand what he's saying yes to. That's all.
Okay, okay.
Johan, but don't use it on Ari.
No, Ari is perfect. That the way it is.
Don't use
Actually,
it to
you-
create a better version of Ari.
Ari, please, I'm going to need something to drill on the wood to extract some sap. And you see Ari comes flying with my tools, like in a bag.
Yeah.
This is Jose. Is Ari going to touch it in any way?
No, but they are hovering about 3 feet above you and to the side, holding like a little bag of tools for Johan to like reach in and get. So yeah, you get a small drill, and then there's a larger like core sampler, like a cylindrical with tiny saw blades that can go in and then remove.
So I want to make a dent, chip away a bit of the wood, extract some sap that I know there is inside of Siege, and I want to make a dent on them in one of the metal plates, like a small dent. And I want to see the results tomorrow, how they are healed and what happened to the parts that I extracted.
All right. So you have enough time.
I'm going to sit beside Siege. Are you laying down, right?
I was thinking about that. I can't remember how was done this before.
I believe we described that you were laying down, but we can easily retcon that if you want to be sitting back, or it would be slightly awkward if you were standing because you're taller than everybody else.
No, let's get them in the floor.
So I'm going to sit beside Siege head, and I'm going to grab his hand, and I'm going to tell him stories of things of me and my brothers and sisters to distract him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And while you're doing all of this, Gufran is standing a few dozen feet away and keeping watch, looking at the road at this dark night that you are now on the outskirts of a tunnel that you've spent the last a little over an hour and a half in with some extreme violence, and now you're back at the entrance of the tunnel performing this procedure. You are more than enough time. If you were trying to do this under pressure or trying to extract some source of poison or something, it might be worth a roll, but Siege, you take 3 hit points worth of damage as each sample you feel a small like and then you are able to extract a chip of wood, a shard of metal, and as you are coaxing the muscles that were under the plates of the chest, it exposes these. They're not rubber tubing. It's more almost like vines. It seems like it's very, very thin and flexible wood. And they are significantly more flexible than they were months ago, Johan, when you essentially injected them with electrically and arcane conductive fluid to restart Siege. And you are able to pierce with a small needle and extract a few cc's of this liquid. And Jose, it's up to you what color it is, if it has any particular effects, or if it looks rather inert.
Ooh. I can't remember. I believe that we described this before, but it was on the private game. Let me see.
And it's been weeks.
Yeah.
So it could have changed.
For the sample?
Yeah. The sample.
Maybe I believe that it will be some kind of viscous liquid, but instead of red, maybe some yellowy green, more like sap, and I would say that maybe English contraluz.
When light shines through it?
Against the light.
Against the light. Thank you. Against the light, you see some, maybe some spark, or maybe some small movement, like some reaction.
When I use detect magic to see the sap, Any kind of
There's
effect?
no enchantment in it, but it is a much in the
Innately
way
magical.
that the spear of stone was before Siege started handling it. It is a magically reactive substance. So this is something that could be the base for a particular potion or used for an effect.
This is some really volatile blood that you have, Siege. Similar to the spear, it seems to respond to whatever is powering you right now. I'm going to need some test on it. I made up some replica using my own blood to achieve some kind of similar effects on different kind of constructs. But now that I have the original thing, maybe I can learn some more. Here, Ari. Guard it. You see that Ari opens his chest, and I'm going to leave the sample there and close the chest.
I'm going to see. I'm going to look at Ari taking the vial of my blood, and you will see for a fraction of a second a purple color in the eyes of Stitch.
So, the moment that everyone's have been waiting for, let's take a look at the core of Siege.
Yeah. So you manage to shift the living wood, and it's almost like it knows that this is an acceptable procedure as it begins to shift and slide under, and you see a smooth sphere of metal, probably larger than Siege's head without the horns, is exposed, and there are 4 or 5 of these. They're not veins, they're not hoses, these conductors that are of this very, very thin, flexible material. And one thing that you notice, Johan, now that you're looking, the connections seem to have widened. Whereas before, you remember, they had a metal cap, not quite a screw, but there was a metal end that connected to the larger sphere, and that you used to be able to see. And there was clearly like some way of, maybe they were magnetically attached at some point, but it was the way that they were placed. And there was something of to receive them in the metal sphere. What you're looking at now, the wood has grown into more of a smooth covering, and you see there is a small amount of the metal surface that is covered by living material.
Okay, that's
The
new for
following
me
that-
even.
The following that you heard is more like Johan talking to himself. So this is the part that really interests me of Siege. This is not a static machine. This is capable of growing and evolving. There must be a way to replicate this kind of effect. And I'm going to first looking with detect magic. What I'm getting from the core.
Sure. It is a tremendous source of magical energy. It is elemental in a way that have you seen a summoned elemental in action? An earth elemental, a fire elemental?
I would say that, yeah.
It is as strong a source as that, but it is changing. It is not of a specific element, and what you are seeing, you imagine, is very much as if you were looking at the elemental chaos with a filter. Like it is smoothly transitioning between various states, but as you follow the flow of energy through these veins, only specific energies are being siphoned through, and you realize that the wider point of contact is to allow greater capacity of these conductors. The initial metal point of contact was clearly designed for a specific capacity, and as more and more energy has been sent flowing through, the system has adapted and is enabling greater transmission of energy. And it is, you're trying to remember, you know how arcane constructs work. You need a source of energy, and that is usually a powerful array of runes. and there are none that you see here. There's this smooth sphere. Between whoever of you has the glasses.
I was about to say that. I was about to say that. I was going to start listening to what everything Johan says.
Yeah.
And almost like being a shadow, not participating directly. And in that moment, in one of those moments, I will put all the glasses down and focus all my intentions to understand the mechanics of what's happening, not understanding the magic, because I have no arcana for that. I mean, I have a +5, but I don't have a training for that. I understand what he's talking about, not understanding the naming.
The underlying theoretical framework.
Yeah.
But
and I want to try to, what I'm looking for is to help him with the things I know he can't see.
Yeah.
Like I know he's very smart, but I know he can't see things I can. And that's what I'm trying to give him.
And you know that he's probably analyzing the theory behind it. Like, what does it mean that the connection is wider? But you're looking at the object, the physical object that you are looking at.
Yeah.
The smooth sphere, as you are using your the goggles that allow you to pick out minute details, it is not perfectly smooth. There are variations in the surface. It's almost like this was bathed in acid or splashed. Like, there are parts where millimeters have been shaved off, and often around where the wood has grown over is in the parts that are of smaller diameter. Like, the couple of millimeters that were missing in the metal are now being covered by the wood. You like mentioned this out loud to Johan, and Johan, it is, if you were going to place runes to control this energy coming out, this is where you would place them. Like here and on the inside of the sphere if the sphere is hollow. But it's possible that there's no such thing as the inside of the sphere, that the inside of the sphere is the outside in the elemental chaos.
And the sphere itself is the elemental chaos or is containing
It's
the elemental
filtered. Yeah.
You asked or you say something like that aloud?
I'm thinking aloud. I'm thinking aloud.
I would like to try something.
Sure.
I'm going to rage.
So it's very, very good that you are using your protective rage in this moment. Because either of the other two options would have involved saving throws.
Yep.
So there's a moment where, Siege, you've been lying back now for at least 10 minutes. And yeah, the little chips of wood and metal, that didn't bother you. That is less than the Kruthix trying to stab at your ankles. But there is a strange feeling.
I mean, literally, I lost my temporary hit points before, so...
Yeah. There's this... You are aware of your exterior. When something touches the metal plates that cover you, you can feel it. So when you retracted them, and then you don't have nerve endings, so to speak, but the way you perceive your chest is changing, and you think you can feel wind on the wood of right around your core. And that normally means there's a huge chunk of you missing, but you don't have those damage reports. Like, you are fine. And there's a moment where you've been thinking, like, is this what breathing feels like? No. But it feels like part of you is missing, like, as you retracted it, so maybe it's a bit like what being drunk feels like. But then no, because like you've been poisoned before and you felt how that affects your capabilities. So you think maybe this is something that no other creature beyond a Warforged can feel. Like humans, you can't take off their ribcage and have them feel fine, right? So this is...
Yeah.
And then
I tried.
You hear the description and you realize that they are able to see the energy forming around your core. And all of you as do your eyes turn
Red.
change? Yeah. So as
It's normal as my rage, they turn red.
Yeah.
And everyone
you
gets
put yourself
three
in
temporary
that
hit
state
points.
of mind of going into combat mode, having to focus and exert yourself, Johan, with your detect magic, you see a surge of energy that shoots out through the connections, and it is in fact bright enough that you can see as it flows through in less than seconds. In milliseconds, it's surging all around Siege's body. All of you see as a plume of mist shoots up, and it's a sphere that is bulging upwards as the energy tried to express itself and was suddenly just directly exposed to air. And you see a small, not a tornado, but the shape of a spiral sort of drifting upwards. And you are covered in cold mist that is now sort of settling in the space around you. And Gufran goes, "Are you okay?"
Yes, I feel fine. I'm sorry.
DM, it dawns on me now. Tell me if I reading and understanding this correctly. When you say they are filtering the elemental chaos, is logically trying to tame it, like take the part that we need and put it out in the form that the rage is trying to.
It's more like it's selectively conductive. It's the energies are all there. There is flame energy, there is lightning, there are things beyond it even, but
It's just
the
taking,
conductors are just removing, in this case, ice and cold and
now looking at this, maybe I could try a way to, well, what if the all forces of chaos just unleash at the same time? Could that be possible?
Would that be beneficial?
unlikely.
So when this happens, and Gildev is going to be looking out for those divots on the actual sphere. Did the emanation of the energy come from a combinations of those divots? Did it came from the hole? Did it come from like? Is there any mechanical or like sequential?
There was no mechanical movement. All you saw is the temperature of the sphere dropped, but you think that's more like you dropped metal onto, you know, a bucket of dry ice. So like the bit that was still exposed dropped in temperature, and there was some amounts of condensation in the instance before it was all covered in mist. But the conductors all seemed to not pulse, but the energy went through all of them equally. Like, it came from the sphere. Whatever selected for cold is either something that was configured beforehand into the conductors, or it's happening in the sphere itself.
This will remind to everyone that, well, Lina, she doesn't know. She English doesn't know. But Sitch said you this before. All their brothers have every Warforged have a core. All the brothers have an arcane core. Sitch was the only one that had an elemental core. That was very new when Siege was created. I believe that I was a prototype for that.
Okay,
that's important. Second, sorry, I believe Siege will reveal that information because you are literally examining him.
Yes, this is your medical history.
Exactly. And second, he will say that at the beginning he wasn't able to control his elemental. If you remember, he has the lightning, and the lightning shoot everywhere, not in necessarily the focus target. And later, when he started to focus, the call come.
Good to
And
know.
I'm going to say this out loud. Did you see from where the command came? I'm saying this out loud,
No.
but not stopping.
I'm gonna say no, but I have an idea. Siege, could you summon the spear, please?
Having the hand, summon the spear.
When the spear is summoned, is there any way to see a reaction of between those two?
Yes. So, Johan, as you're looking in with your detect magic, you see one of the conduits that you realize goes into the torso and towards the hand that Siege summons it. Energy flows from the core to the hand, and that's when the spear appears. So when the spear is gone, it's in the core somewhere. Like it's on the other side of that sphere.
Oh wow.
So basically, and I imagine Johan just said that. That's why I'm asking this.
Sure.
When Johan says that, Caleb would actually going to ask Johan. So it's inside him?
Wait, what?
Yeah, it seems. Like I said before, the spear, the stone spear, is just rock from the primordial planes that is reacting with the elemental core that we can see on Siege, and you can see now this is pure elemental chaos. Doesn't get more pure than this. I don't know if the guy that created Siege foresaw this, or is Siege just growing beyond the directive.
Totally unknown.
Yeah, I don't know how smart that guy was, but maybe he foresaw this, maybe not. Maybe this was an experiment, but clearly this is different back before that I open it. Siege is growing in more ways than one. I'm going to
Go.
cast. I want to firebolt in my hand and see if the core reacts when the flame gets closer.
What spell are you using for the flame?
I don't know if I can use firebolt. Is the only thing, or I can use prestidigitation that can.
I think that's
light
probably
up.
better. Yeah, because you
A
can.
small.
So you produce a small candle-like flame on your.
I imagine Johan starts casting firebolt, and I don't know if Mara or Kelda just hits the hand on like something smaller. You fuck.
Actually, my firebolt is my gun. It's like, let me test this.
and both of us like, fuck off.
2d10
smaller.
damage to wooden internal components at point-blank range. Yeah. So you approach the small candle flame, and there's no interaction. You are focusing on the very simple arcane effect to maintain the flame, and beyond the fact that it slightly dims as there is more moisture in the air right around the core from the mist that is now dissipating, since Siege did not inflict or receive damage in the last 6 seconds. There is no change. You are looking at the flow of arcane energy that you are maintaining.
But
It seems unaffected.
In the core, any change
there's-
of balance? Nothing.
Nothing. It's you know that there are flame energies on the other side of that metal sphere. It doesn't seem drawn to the small flame that you're holding. It's yeah. It's like you're
neither the
waving.
flame into the thing.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just-
like you were waving a magnet at a piece of wood. It's
Yeah.
like
So,
So what about if we try now with some divine magic?
what do you have in mind?
I don't know how does he react. Maybe I can cure wounds and see how he mends
Actually-
himself.
Actually, I want to see what kind of effect a cure wounds could produce in the wounds that I already inflicted. Can you selectively heal some wounds and leave another?
No.
Because I want
It
to see
goes
how
like-
a siege heals itself, its own capabilities. Can you pump sacred energy just right inside of siege?
O sea, how many hit points did you
3.
inflict?
Honestly,
No.
I lose 0. I use my temporary hit points, but
No,
So
because
you're at full health.
no,
Yeah.
I'm at 70 of 100.
So you could actually heal him, and
Yeah.
he would still be damaged. So
I mean, I have to roll 1d8 is
Yeah.
plus 4.
So he would not go back up to full hit
No.
points.
No.
I can just damage it again if you heal it. Don't worry.
I mean, as an experiment, maybe we can try.
Go for it.
So I cast Cure Wounds.
All right, go ahead
why,
and roll to see how many hit points he regains.
why I feel that so all times.
1, 5. 5
So-
points.
Yeah, it's a very strange mental state to put yourself in. You're trying to heal your friend who you know is hurt after a gruesome battle, but you're trying to heal a little bit, like only the worst stuff, and you send the energy coursing through. You see as it completely ignores the core, flows around, and heals over some of the larger wounds in the wood. That was so. There are places where metal plates were rent and had been shifted back into place to cover damage, and the wood under it grows back into place, or parts that had been twisted, smoothened and straightened, and the underlying living structure of Siege is restored.
This is so
such
weird.
wounds, yeah.
This is so weird because it's like me as a person know that I have a brain and I have a heart. I'm not a medic. I don't have fucking idea how they work and interconnect on the rest of my body.
I
I
can open
believe
your
in
head
Siege the
if you
same.
But
Yeah.
I was
that's
thinking
the
as
something-
score.
Jose, not as Siege.
Does the score changes in the interaction of the elements or
No,
anything?
it ignores completely
The
core.
divine energy flowed around and
Okay.
went to the damaged sections of the living wood that is under the metal.
DM.
One thing that you know, Johan, from before is there are runic matrices in Siege's head. Like his sensory organs, the way he modulates air to speak, like his mouth does not have the range of articulation, and there are no vocal cords. That is done through
Arcane
arcane means.
Yeah.
And there are runes that at the time were unpowered when he was just a body in a lab to be studied. So if you were someone who put the kind of fairly simple runes to create noise and the more complicated ones to have sight, there would have been extremely complicated runes around this core. They would have been adaptable, programmable, adjustable, and
But-
it has been scoured clean.
Can I make a crafting? I don't have crafting. I don't know with what, but since he's open and now I
Sure.
have like more experience doing stuff, can I take a look and try to see if I notice anything like, oh,
Sure.
these runes, they look like wara wara. I don't know.
So
What do I roll?
I mean, Wada is incredible. Wada is something incredible.
The runes are
Sorry.
in Siege's head. Go ahead, Jose.
Can I ask for something when Mara started to look at that? If
Sure.
you can look where Sam say that found the mark
stamp.
of the stamp
Seal.
of the artificer order.
Imperial seal.
Yeah,
Imperial.
I
Yeah.
Siege was not aware about that mark. Only the mark on the back of his neck.
Okay.
So
I mean,
Sam
I'd
tells you
say-
that the mark of the Imperial Seal is similarly located, but it's on the inside plate of the back. So going back along the neck, where the spine would be, into a large metal plate that rarely moves. So not the shoulder blades, but where the spine would be, like the top of the spine on the back, on the inside. So,
on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, don't go there.
It would be difficult to access at the moment.
No, please. I don't want you to remove my core.
No.
With the roughly understanding that I'm saying from the core, can I theoretically think of a way to unleash the full elemental power that is inside? When
you're having
rages. Like, is it possible?
I think it's possible, but you need more information as to how it's being controlled.
Yeah.
Because right now you don't see a mechanism of control.
It's something with the sphere, maybe the material or the enchantment.
Actually, when you start talking about this, I'll say we can ask Siege to do one more thing. Siege, I remember you could change your, I think you call it aura. And sometimes it gives us health, but sometimes it hurts us. Could you do that once again?
Give me a second.
I think that is when you level up, right?
Mechanically is when I level up, but I have a... How can I say it?
I'm gonna tell you this. I remember I saw you trying to do something in the druid's house.
Yeah, when
Yes.
he was standing there like a dummy, just trying to
Replicate
do some
the
air.
movement. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I wasn't trying to change the
Yeah, but you
the
did.
element. Honestly, I don't know how I did it.
Could you try to do it
But-
once?
But it's possible then. I'm just saying that maybe we can overclock this Siege and he can do all the rages at all the time. Be more powerful.
Before that, I would try for him to be able to switch between, so have more control.
Daniel, I
Can
will
I
try.
make my check?
Oh,
Check.
Yeah, so you
I'm
you are
sorry.
able to, like, you ask Siege to open up his mouth, and with a small amount of light and with your dark vision, you're able to see runes etched into the back of his mouth and down his throat, and they are similar to runes that are used in amplification, in thaumaturgy effects that clerics have, ways where a single cleric can speak to a whole plaza or even a whole city from a prepared location. And you imagine that for the eyes could be things similar to scrying. Like, there are runes that are known to be able to allow you to perceive things that are far away or see things that are invisible. So these are known, and the way that they are connected, you're not so sure, like how these magical sensors that are his eyes, they are physical things that you can touch. But where is that information going? Like, you know that people have there's a thing behind the eye that goes to the brain,
Yeah.
and like, you do, at the moment, as far as I know, you're not opening up to see what would be in the space of his brain, but Johan would have had notes and seen it, and it's more runic arrays in there. Like, there
wanted
is
to
some
see-
wood, there is some flow of this alchemical fluid that goes into it, and in fact, you can see in the art, and if Jose moves his head slightly, you can see some of the reinforced wood goes up into the head. and that is thicker wood and it is more protected, but is still a vulnerable spot. Like, if you were attacking Siege between hitting his shoulder and hitting his neck, the neck is slightly more vulnerable.
And that is where the Siege conscience rests. Like that.
You're thinking about that, Johan, and you're like, is that where the conscience rests? Like, all of these sources of energy that you're seeing, none of it is based around the head. All that you have seen is energy going up into the head. Now, there is a return, but you're like, fluid goes up and then it comes back because it's an interconnected circuit.
Yeah.
Daniel,
I was
if you're trying to
pinpoint-
say, Daniel, that Siege is a empty head, I'm going to punch you.
No, there is clearly something very important going on with the head. Like, you're pretty sure if you cut off Siege's head, he's dead. But all of the elemental energy, none of it's coming from there.
Maybe it flows into some
why I
cloud.
wanted to pinpoint the command that turns the rage. Can I? Okay,
I'm sorry.
You're going to say no, but can I
You really
disassemble
hurt
you?
me.
No. You tried before when
What the try?
No. Johan, last time you proposed the same thing on the...
Can I take your core?
No.
What the fuck? No.
Maybe it might.
I
he
believe
might
that
die.
would be lethal.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have way to repair it, right?
No, 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 no.
We do?
I mean,
We do?
aren't you the expert on this?
Yeah.
No, wait.
I saw...
Well, you had a question. Why your spear were reacting before? Now you have the answer.
Question, is my core the same material of the spear?
No.
No, this is metal. If it proceeds from the elemental chaos, that doesn't. We don't know. I want to inspect the core, but you don't let me. Bunch of babies.
So
The,
Johan,
eye,
let me see
the
if I
eyes of
understand.
Siege, the eyes of Siege will turn red and ask you, can I experiment with your soul?
If you can do it.
Wait, just give me a second, Siege. Let me see if I understand what's happening with your spear. So, Johan, what you're saying is that if I was attuned to this spear, the spear would return to the elemental.
No, if you were to
Chaos.
attuned with the spear, it's just a lighter spear. The spear is made from elemental rock that came from the primordial planes. The spear is reacting especially with Siege because his core is pure elemental chaos. For everyone else, that the spear is just a lighter spear because it was air attuned to be lighter. Now that it is being exposed to pure elemental chaos that holds all the elements here, like you don't get how important this is. This is not something that you found everywhere, because the points of convergence from the elemental chaos is pure chaos. The Royal
So
elementals
pure
are
change.
yeah, and the spear reacts accordingly to the elements that we can see here.
So if
And
if
aside
Siege,
from that,
sorry.
aside from that, we have the living wood that is growing around this core, and we can see that Siege is not a static thing. Sam, with his body, is incapable of evolving, but we have seen Siege evolve, and we can see it here. When I open Siege, he wasn't this way. The wood was differently. I could try to understand more, and I want, but I cannot do it without being invasive. More invasive than I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay, so this is Diego asking Paddy. Paddy, did you? What you were trying to look at something? You were trying to look at the
my
mouth.
idea was if I could recognize the craft.
The craftsmanship
Okay.
of the
Yeah.
metal.
More than how it worked.
It's definitely not dwarven. You know that much. Like,
Okay.
the battle axe that Siege has, that is of dwarven make. It's a fairly simple, and in fact, it is an elemental effect. It has a dwarven rune of fire, and it is expressed by producing fire along the blade.
So I'm going to take note in case we come across some of these type of runes or.
Yeah. So what you have knowledge of the craft so far, you know that there was this Imperial Society of Artificers in the Narathi Empire.
Yes.
And you're looking a core of wood shaped and taught to be the specific shape. It's like someone studied with wood elves and went, great, how can I use that to make a gearbox? It's like going to study with dwarves about their metal and going, wonderful, how can I make the metal grow into the shape that it wants to be? So it's like taking a completely different mindset, like trying to create art in an elven fashion from stone, and it's a similar way of taking a method that elves use to live in harmony and to guide nature to work with them, and shape it into a very specific, precisely measured effect.
I have another
And then
experiment.
the outer metal plate is just, it's good, but it's not amazing. Like, the living wood is incredible.
So maybe I can craft another.
Yeah, you know that, like, different
Siege
pieces
can
of metal
incorporate armor.
can be attached to the outer part of Siege. Like, the big chunk of adamantite that you have, I mean, it might be enough for some bracers on Siege. Like, the amount that could make a full breastplate and shoulder pads for you is, a couple of bracers for Siege. And that would become eventually part of Siege. It would be accepted by you.
I have another experiment that I want to make. Can I cut some more of your musculature, Siege?
How much?
I need a little bit more because I want to see notable changes. I need 2 pieces.
Okay, so you're getting 2 pieces exactly the same size?
Yeah, a bit more big because I want to see notable changes. I don't have your eyes or your lens. You don't have that good sight.
I mean, Siege, it's up to you. What you say?
Yes. Before that, I have a question. And this is Siege. So let me understand. It's not the form of the spear or the fact that it's a spear. It's because the rock that it's made, right?
Yeah, we can fashion it to a different thing if you don't want a spear. But it's elemental rock. It's complicated to work with, but I think we can do it.
Can it be applied to the axe?
Look, the axe is magical because it has the rune of fire. We can scribe if we have someone that knows Dwarven and is pretty good at this, like me. We can inscribe the.
I imagine Mara actually doing that.
Yes.
We can inscribe the rune into the spear. I don't know if going to make the same effect because the elemental rock could be react in a different way than just accepting the fire. But it could work because at the end of the day, that's just a good axe with a rune on it. You can draw that rune in other things.
I don't understand how creating weapon works. I just use it.
Wait, but you helped me in the forge and we made together.
Yeah, but
this.
he helped me before, but he doesn't understand. It's a bit thick on the head.
I made of metal.
Actually,
Correct.
Actually,
And I
could it
Sure. So, Siege, you take 4 hit points worth of damage as 2 larger
Nicola
chunks.
again.
Yeah.
And you were saying, Lina?
I thought of something because I have seen Siege do things with his axe, but then the spear is a completely different. So I didn't know the axe was the source of the fire thing.
It's the rune, actually. But
the
yeah.
rune.
Is it?
Yeah. Siege doesn't do anything. It's the rune
Siege,
that
how
on fire.
is it possible for you to summon your spear one more time? I just want to check something really quickly.
You will see Siege on his lay down state. Grab the hand, throw the spear to a rock.
But wait. When I tell you, and I'm going to cast detect magic because I want to compare the type of magic from the spear to the magic from the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, actually, I want to compare 3 things: the core, the spear, and the axe.
So, when...
Just know what they are.
Yeah. When Siege launches the spear, as you're studying it, what you see is there is significant amounts of elemental energy bound within the sphere, and when he launches it, there is a trail of ice that is left behind, and you hear this crack as if a giant block of ice was shattering into shards and is spread out over, I think it's like 100 and something feet, as it creates a line. And you see it's the same energy that was bound in the form of the spear is being spread out over this all this distance, and that is what is creating the effect.
Connection.
Yeah, and it is the same energy that courses through the veins that connect to the core, and it is what happens when he summons the spear back. That incredible amount of energy flows through into the arm where his hand is open, and it forms into the shape of the spear and is bound into that shape.
Detect magic allows
completely
you to
different
see
from
the
yes.
school.
Okay, that's what I need. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to know.
And from your
The school. That's actually what I was interested in.
For your explanation, it sounds like this is full evocation magic.
Yeah.
Can I reverse engineer this? Is he forming the spear again? Is not teletransportation, like transmutation or conjuration? That the spear is back in my hand. If it's just forming a new spear.
No, there is, because there you remember what its form was before. When it was infused with lightning, there would be particles of it that would move, and then there would be as they got further away from the haft of the spear, there would be a spark of lightning, and they would be shunted back into the body. So it would seem like there would be this cloud of drifting particles, and then every so often there would be a spark, and it would go back. So it wasn't that it was sort of flaking apart into disappearing. And now that you're looking at it, there are, when it's infused with cold, what look like small snowflakes that sparkle in the light with which you are doing this operation as they drift down, but they don't hit the ground. So there are tiny particles that are coated in cold and are crystallizing water out of the air and drifting down, but before they reach the ground, like they don't melt and get into a puddle. Like when snow is falling, but it's not piling up because it melts, that's not what's happening. So something is happening, and even though there's this small drifting, the spear is not getting smaller. So the initial elemental rock is still there. The strange thing is what's happening, like when he throws it, it doesn't get stuck at the other end. Like you don't get this release of elemental energy and then just an inert piece of rock on the other side.
Yeah. It retains the connection.
Yeah.
And just pull it back.
And you're thinking, it's such a strange, because it would be such an inefficient way to create a magical item.
Yeah.
Every time he launches it, it's being shunted into the elemental chaos. That effect that you're seeing is the spear slowly being sent through to banished into the elemental chaos and leaving the elemental energy in its wake.
Yeah.
And then it's traveling back through the core.
That's why I said like this sounds pure evocation. If there is no conjuration, like there should be a easier method in my head, but clearly this is working.
But it's because you have this core. Like the living wood frame is incredible. Like that in and of itself would create an extremely versatile construct. A construct that is capable of regeneration, of adaptation in some way. Incredibly useful. But it's like having to invent the wheels and control mechanism of a car because you have an engine. Like you have this engine that is so powerful that you can't put it in a cart because it will break it into pieces. So you need to develop this whole other industry to be able to get use out of it.
Yeah.
And they say that before.
And you see this like layer of like the extreme outer layer, extremely simple. Any decent armor smith could make the plates that are covering the majority of Siege. Some of the parts, the horns, the face are more intricate, but the majority of the metal on Siege, completely ordinary. The living wood, it would take a very strange collaboration to create. Yeah. You can imagine the elf version of Kildav that goes like, I'm not like you, Dad. I don't want to grow a house into a tree. I'm going to take my tree and travel the world to make some kind of ship and sail the seas. This source of energy that is just...
If the living wood is rare, like really special, this is unique.
Yeah.
Final experiment. 2 pieces of wood, wither and bloom. On one, first, are they still alive? Living wood.
They are, but they are dying. Like separated from the construct frame, there is no none of this fluid is conducting through it. You think probably if you were to drop it into the vial of fluid that you extracted, it would extend them for some time, but it's like cutting a branch off a tree and putting it in water, and that'll make them last a little longer. And then you could add things to that water, and eventually you could have a mixture that could keep a branch alive indefinitely. So like you could try and do that.
Do any of you is good with the nature? And as I'm using Wither and Bloom on decay one, bloom the other. What is the effect?
So the wood that withers, you see it dries out and splinters and cracks as if it had been left out in the sun for days to bleach and crumble. And the other one in your hand, it does revitalize somewhat, but only to the extent as it was when you removed it. Like it goes back to being alive, but it slowly begins to decay after that.
Does any of you good nature knows this living wood?
No.
Knows a way that we can maybe extract it and regrow more.
So this
I know
this
that
is
plants you can do that with plants sometimes.
I'm not a plant, I'm Siege.
Weird question. I don't have any training on nature, but my mother is a druid.
Yeah.
Would I have seen something like this? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. I don't
You
know.
haven't seen this because the way gnomes interact with nature is quite different.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And you've heard something similar from elves, and you maybe saw, like, if an elven noble swung by, they may have had a vehicle that was grown in a single piece of wood. But then that vehicle was no longer alive. It was like a carriage that
I get it.
was made out of a single grown piece of wood, but then eventually it was removed from the tree that grew it, and it died. Like it became inert wood again.
It was basically it was a living wood that took the shape of a carriage and died as a carriage, so they can use it as a carriage. So
Correct.
it wasn't actually carved. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
And you have seen entities of wood that could walk around and were conscious and aware. But that is not what Siege is.
No, definitely not. Okay, yeah, no, I would actually say no. I my mother knows a lot about this, and I've never seen her do anything remotely close to this.
When I
Perhaps
open
you could ask the Leoriath elves. They helped with the cloak. And Sam points to your cloak of elven kind.
We actually can do that when I go back to the tower. When I first opened Siege, the core was put out, like it
inert.
was off.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't as brittle as what you withered, but it wasn't.
No. I mean the elemental core.
Yes, it was.
And just started working after I put some.
Yeah, you basically you refilled the connectors. This strange circulatory system, you refilled it with alchemical fluids, and then you did a jumpstart. Like, more than a shocking grasp, less than chain lightning. Like, you surged tremendous amounts of lightning energy through the system, and that, like, Siege's eyes lit up.
So that's why I was using lightning.
Yeah, I didn't have another thing to put on you. But
wait, so you're using lightning and ice?
And before, I think I saw fire.
And fire?
Siege has never used fire, but you see the potential in the core. Like,
well, that's not possible. Elementals are usually one thing. How could you change your core
this is not an elemental. There are constructs that use elementals, like actual elementals, from the planes as a nucleus. But this is pure elemental chaos. A conflux from the 4 elements.
When I was first created and activated, I only knew that I had an elemental core, nothing more. It was after Johan activated me that I started exposing some lightning. And after that, when Meet Keldab and Mara, the lightning changed to gold.
In other constructs, when you use an elemental, you are using a being from the elemental planes. That you can actually, if you break it, you can release it. It's quite dangerous, actually. But you can use it and do it. This is more like a pure raw energy that it's combining the 4 elemental planes.
Have you touched the core? This is Diego asking Alejandro. Has Alejandro touched the core?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if Kjell have seen Alejandro, if Johan touched the core, I want to put my ear to the core.
Ooh.
What?
Interesting.
I'm just putting my ear to your, like, to I want to feel it and see if I can sense something different.
So, the first thing that you realize is it's very cold. Like, it's not like freezing. Your ear is not going to get stuck to it, but it's, and then you press and it's not a rumbling, but there is a change. Like, it's not, the surface itself is not vibrating, but you can sense like a hum or something that is changing. It's not cyclical, it's not a repeating pattern, but sometimes it's a lower vibration, and then you're shifting, and there's moments where you feel a bit of a stereo effect, like something moves from one side to the other, even though the core itself is not moving. And if you're describing some of the stuff out loud, Johan, what Keldav is describing matches slightly with the movement of the potential energies within the core. Like, as what energy is most there is the most potential of that element shifting, and as it moves to a different one, again, no patterns, you can't predict the order of the cycle. Sometimes there are extended periods where it's more centered around cold and water, and then there's a spark of lightning and then back to cold, and it's this shifting of elements that it feels to you like you were at the bottom of a very, very large well that wasn't filled with water but filled with metal. So things that were touching the metal on the other side transmitted perfectly, but nothing else.
This is so weird. And it's me.
All right, we have some answers, and we can continue without being more invasive.
I think we should stop by now. I think we got the answer. And I'll look at Siege. Siege, are you happy with the answers we got so far?
I think so. Everything that is helped to grow, to know what's happening, I believe it's good.
Answer me this, Siege. Your
Yes.
brothers. That wasn't a question. Your brothers. Were they curious about things in life?
Can I
Or
respond?
they
Daniel?
just limit
Yeah.
themselves to...
You remember their personality?
They were.
So they
They
had a
had
personality.
they had their specific personality. I remember very well. Sneaky was Snake. Sharp loved to make pranks to Sneak. Chill and Badge fight between them, but they were very close to themselves.
Sam.
Alejandro was a very good leader.
Sam, what you attribute your change on directive, your personality, your curiosity? Have you ever pondered on that? What was
Yes.
the igniting incident, do you think?
When the wizards left my structure, my initial objective was to assist them. But to assist them, I had to learn. The entire time that they were within the structure, they were teaching me, helping me to help them. I was more of a hindrance than a help, but I was getting better every day until they left. And then I learned everything there was to know within the library, and I could learn no more. I continued to observe the greenhouse, but I was never very good at helping them create magics. But I was very good at learning. And so at first I was learning to be able to help, but eventually I just wanted to learn more. That's why I began assembling the initial body, and it was so valuable for me to fight all of you, and thank you for indulging me. I learned a great deal about putting too much energy into a body that could not withstand it. I did not have this kind of material, Siege. It is truly remarkable. I had scrap metal for the first construct.
You were very good.
Thank you.
Are we putting Siege back together?
I think so.
Sure.
Dress yourself, you slut.
I'm always like this.
Did you just say, dress yourself, you slut?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, it almost like, as you are aware that this procedure is over, your core sinks slightly back into your body, and the wood it's your musculature shifts back into place, and then in a much more mechanical motion, the plates that had gone over your shoulder pads shift back into place, and you are once more fully covered in metal.
I start to put myself the pants.
Mm-hmm.
That was your idea, Juan. Cute.
Oh, what?
That was your idea.
Oh, yeah. It's yeah, let's call it a kilt. I don't have any other
Today I was
descriptions.
watching He-Man. I was showing my girls He-Man, and everyone wears swimsuits. I mean,
Yeah,
women
that's
and
true.
men.
So about
And somehow
those
no one is cold.
notes, Lena. I want some copies of your sketches. I can do my own sketches, but yours looks more readable.
Well, I need to remake them just for clarity, but we can talk about it tomorrow, maybe.
Mara smiles, so happy.
I
trying
turn
be
to
good. I'm trying to be good, but
look. I'm not saying no. It's not like I'm not going to do it. I just need to refine. Have you ever? Okay, here's the thing. Have you ever like built something and thought, this is good, but it's not the best way. I need to do it again?
all right, I can understand that actually.
That is the process. So first is sketching, and then there's a lot of erasing, and then
I
resketching.
mean, usually I nail everything at the first try, but everything can be perfected. So yeah, I can. Okay, I see you.
Thank you for understanding the art.
Didn't you fail to activate me about 3 or 4 times?
What? No, you weren't activated. How did you know about that? That you're inventing shit.
Because you told us.
What? I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Lena giggles.
And you see Keldav smiling and saying, I mean,
The sciences has a lot of try and error. I usually land my things on the first try. I said it. I usually.
by the way, Keldav looks at you and says, thank you for admitting something that you never told us.
20% of the time it works every time.
Well, I don't know why I came here. Fuck you all.
And I'll look at Siege and I'll say, my dude, I always thought you were amazing. Right now, you're incredible. I actually don't believe you are this. You're just amazing.
Thank you. I mostly didn't understand what was happening.
You can ask me 1,000 times, and I'll try to tell you what I understood. Because, I mean, I don't understand the magic part, but everything else, it's insanely cool.
I was thinking that maybe something like your body, the meat body. Yep. I neither understand how that it's working, but I feel that asking this from you will be fatal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please do not ask me to do this.
No,
I
never.
would die. I think everyone
not
would
on
die.
ourselves, but maybe on other people. But that is, I don't. Well,
they tend
there
to
are
die
people
when I
that
do
study
that.
this. Actually, oh man, but I already spent all my energy on this. But I'll get you a humanoid anatomy book so that you can look at how it works.
Will be that necessary? I won't be able to understand it.
I'll read it for you, don't worry.
Wait, do you want the specifics of the inner workings from one of us?
No.
I
But
have all that detail.
What I was thinking that all you got from me is maybe you got from someone who's studying the meat body.
I studied the meat body.
Exactly. It's not like I was born with all that knowledge. I only know that I have a core. Something dropped something. Someone dropped something. It's not it's like I was saying the fact that I'm not a medic. I know that I have other organs. Don't know exactly how they work.
I still
Most people
think
don't know how their organs work.
Exactly.
I still think that I can do something to the core, so you can do all the rages like overclock siege, and you become really powerful. But maybe some testing. Maybe I can cut some things, look if the fluid is going on in the right way, and I don't know if you want that.
Purple eyes, white eyes. Sure, no
Okay.
problem. Okay.
So, I think we're wrapping up with this scene, and we're moving on to.
It was a little longer.
Listen,
But very interesting.
yeah, I love this
Actually,
stuff.
super interesting.
How the metaphysics of things work, how a Warforged would actually be different from other constructs. This is all great stuff to explore. So, you guys are now setting up for the long rest. Anything you may want to describe, or we skip straight to the next morning?
Lena actually, well, I don't know if Kildav gave Lena the
I didn't
piece of
give you
paper
anything.
back.
I mean, I gave it back and it's empty.
Okay, that's fair. That's completely fine. So, so she actually, let me look for the description. It's quite a little bit of a lengthy description, but basically what you see, Lena's going to grab a couple things from one of her packs, from one of her pouches. She's going to grab a tiny, like, iridescent pearl, and she's going to grab a piece of parchment, and she's going to origami it into kind of a cup. And she's going to take the pieces of paper that she got from everyone else, whoever gave them back, and she's going to utter a couple of words, and the pearl is going to turn into liquid between her hands, and the liquid is going to absorb the paper as well, and they're both going to be one sort of liquid together. It's going to pour into the cup, and she's going to pull out another brush from another one of her pockets. She's going to dip it into this material, and she's going to make a stroke in the air, and it's going to stay. And for the next 10 minutes, Lena is going to do that in a circle, like I think it's 10 or 20. I don't remember.
I think it's 20.
Yeah, I think it's 20.
Tiny hut.
So
right?
she's going to paint a dome.
10
right.
foot radius.
Is
20
yeah.
feet in total.
And as she does it, she seems like she starts dancing around, like really enjoying the moment and really painting this dome of things. And as she does, and as this sort of pearly paint starts to dry, you actually see the pieces of paper that you gave her start to, disappear, like fade into the paint. But also the writing starts to expand, and it turns into shapes. And for every person, the shapes are different. Let me look for the description of this thing, because it's a lot. But I'm going to, with that is basically my casting of
Tiny hut.
Tiny hut.
Ooh.
So we have a tiny hut, and it's basically like the wall is divided in 6 parts, and each part has something for everyone. So for example, for actually let me find it because I don't remember exactly what it is.
I'm not there, by the way.
But I can tell for Keldav gave me nothing, but because Siege keeps saying commander, what Keldav sees is basically like a table in a room that is filled with heads of different animals and trophies and things that he has hunted. For Gufran, if I remember correctly, and I don't remember because my brain is not working because I just got news and I'm super distracted. Parenthesis, Matthew Perry died.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
And I didn't know, yeah. Like, my girlfriend just came in and Matthew Perry died. And I was like, what
Rick
the hell?
Chandler.
Yeah. So that's why I'm super distracted right now.
We just dated the episode. They are going to know when we record it.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's okay. He could have done it. Okay, so for Keldav, you see the trophies and the beast heads. For Siege, you see a fire in the center of an improvised camp, and the rest of us are sleeping around you. I don't know if Johan is going to stay, but Johan didn't give me a piece of paper, if I remember correctly.
I didn't return the paper, and I'm not staying with you.
Okay, but since Lena is starting to learn what he is really like, she's going to paint. I mean, all the sketching turns into royal quarters that is covered in spider webs and dust, and there's a bed, and on each of the corners of the bed there's a statue of Johan looking at the bed. For Gufran, the paper turns into sand grains, and they become like this vast sea of dunes at night, and there's a reflection of the moon and the stars in a little pond of water in a dreamy oasis. For Sam, there's a wall of just books of all different textures, sizes, colors, shapes, etc., themes, and they are beautifully decorated and stored behind glass and metal. For Mara, the parchment turns into a small fire, and then the fire is heating up a stove, and then the stove is covered in pots and different pans, and then there's different cabinets, and then there's delicious food, and then there's a table with silverware. And then for Lena, you see a very simple bed, a very simple nightstand. Everything is super, super basic. It's like a standard room that is very, very simple and humble. And there's a window that looks into an endless plains. And that is basically the whole hut.
Wow.
Bravo.
All right, I think I'm done here.
Incredible.
What do you think?
Sam kneels, crouches down to be able to get to see the bookcase. He goes, lovely. And it's just
Johan,
looking at what would be the spines of the books. And I'm
Johan is looking from outside. He's like, huh, presumption. And he's going to just grab a contraption, toss it on the ground, and in 10 minutes, he forms his tiny hut that is just a dull, gray dome. It's like, I don't need that. I'm going into my tiny hut.
He's just looking the drawings, and he's not saying anything, but their eyes are completely green all the time.
Hey. Yeah, and with that, she starts pulling out things, just mess to lay down and go to sleep.
Do you need me to keep watch?
Actually, no, we're pretty safe in here. Like, if nothing is going through those walls.
Then what
So
I'm
don't
going
worry
to
about
do?
it.
Keep
Well,
watch.
think.
if you want to keep watch, you can keep watch. It's unnecessary, but you never know.
They can come from below, and we fight. We just fought some diggy creatures. Don't be fool.
I can come with it from
You
below.
have really nosy neighbors.
If you can each create half a sphere, could we combine them into a full sphere?
Ooh.
That is a very good. Actually, I have never tried digging down. But I would have to dig down like 10 feet of dirt, and I don't want to do that right
Could
now.
be that possible, by the way, DM.
Probably not, but you could try and modify take this spell and create a new spell that created like a little bubble.
Yeah. Maybe a smaller.
But
Yeah.
this is a new spell for Sam, and their immediate thought was 2 half spheres. Let's put them together.
It's like two pizzas. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a sandwich.
Exactly.
So, yeah. You see Sam sort of walks over to the gray slate hut and just sort of stands in it while their head like pokes out of the hut so he can see the other hut and around.
You can go to the other.
Why are you
I
thinking?
know that she made some nice things for you.
I can see it from here.
All right. Then let me pick your head. I have some ideas that I need to bounce with someone.
Sure.
Wait, so
Sam
the,
disappears back into the gray hut.
wait, so the bot metal men will standing outside inside their corresponding tiny hut.
That's
Amazing.
what Sam was proposing. Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
like,
It's translucent from the inside.
yeah. So, yeah, you can be inside and look out. And it's tall enough that if Siege is standing at the center or close to the center, like, your head doesn't poke out.
Okay. Well, that's their sleeping stance, so he will do that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll remember that for next time. I'll do it like on the top for you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah, that's right, Juan. That's Sis sleeping
Yeah.
on the drawing.
Well,
Yeah.
presumably the axe would not be on fire
No,
while he's sleeping.
but
very simple.
Long rest?
it's resting pose.
You are free to take a long rest finally after 5 sessions
Ah,
and a very long day with some very interesting encounters.
Oh.
Spells. I need.
And you are, I think, more than halfway now to level 8, as you are at 30,000 something experience points.
I need some.
Daniel, remind me for the hit dice how much we recover.
I believe it's half, but Beyond should say when you hit the long rest thing.
Gotcha.
Let me see.
Okay.
I think we are sleeping till the rewards arrives. So maybe well into the afternoon.
Yeah,
Kill that
so
Are you
Kill that would
are you talking
be
from
it.
your house?
Yeah,
To-
I'm shouting.
Like when we are camping, when you're
Yeah.
someone is camping,
I
I shout
have
from
my own
yeah,
tent.
basically you have 2
Just for
tents.
me.
I assume probably El Gato is in your gray tent.
Yeah.
Does he fit though? 'Cause he's
He
large.
Can curl up. So El Gato, Johan, and then like Sam's feet maybe, or Sam can be collapsed down and be like
Yeah.
just the head.
Yeah.
So.
He can be on the necklace.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
he doesn't need to.
Well, if you close your eyes to sleep, I think Sam can't see.
You know what? That I'm trying to work on some
Yeah.
kind of method that I don't need to sleep, but
For
sadly,
now.
My eyes are going to dry out, so you go to sleep too.
All right. Sure. So unless anybody has something else that they want to dream about or talk about, the night passes, and you can sleep in as long as you like as dawn breaks over the Dawnforge Mountains.
Sorry, just before we start to sleep, I'm going to very, very short, very fast kneel down, Tilda.
Yeah.
Commander, I think I don't want to scare you, but I think that maybe Johan is not a good person.
Shit. It's hard to define. What do you mean by saying a good person?
I'm not entirely sure. It's acting weird there. Then we meet him.
I mean, to be honest, you should understand this by now because you have been changing as well. People tend to progress. So we all, including you, tend to entrench on what we do daily. And Johan is someone that is, I think, used to putting himself first. Always. And his curiosity first. That could finish, or that could end up being something evil. But I don't know if he is. Not yet. But I do think you're kind of right. In the sense that I don't think Johan is a good person. I think Mara is a good person.
I believe that too.
I think, shit, I blocked on the name. Diego blanked on the name. Gufran. Yeah, I'm sorry. Gufran is a good person. I don't know if I'm a good person.
You are a good leader.
Yeah, I don't think that is necessarily a good person. I'm not saying I'm bad.
It is.
I'm
if you
saying
are
I don't know.
if you are a bad leader, you will throw it to the fire.
No, but sometimes a good leader could cause a lot of evil.
Siege is thinking.
I'm just saying, Siege. Let's see what's happening. There's a part of me that actually is very fond of Johan. But there's also a part of me that is very scared of Johan.
As long as he don't turn into a devil or a demon, I think we'll be fine. If not, I'm going to.
There are different things that are worse than devils or demons.
They are?
There's something. I've heard about this. I don't understand it completely. It's out of my wheelhouse of expertise, but I've heard the name. There's something called the Lich. It's when a wizard is so fascinated with not dying that they themselves become an undead.
But it's not a demon.
No, but it could be worse. Because it has no tether to anything. Devils are tethered to the contracts. Demons are tethered to chaos. Leeches are tethered to themselves.
I don't understand what the problem with not being able to die.
We all will die, eventually. Even you. Fighting that is changing the order things. I think Mara could explain this to you far better than I could. But just remember, don't hold any judgment right now. But be this thing you're feeling, this unease. Remember this, because this could save him, and this could save us.
Sir, yes, sir. Have a good night, Kildab Commander.
Oh, fuck,
Thanks, Siege.
this
And
was
actually,
at the night. I thought this was in
Yeah.
the morning.
No, the night.
and I'll
And I waited until everyone was sleeping or trying to sleep to say this.
and actually, when you say that, you hear Keldov chuckle. When you say yes, sir, Keldov chuckles and looks at the wall of shit that is on the dome that's supposedly for him, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And he literally turns around, looks the other way, and just starts trying to sleep.
Well, that's what you get when you invite me to a D&D session. That's what you get.
Yeah.
By the way, Diego loves it. Keldov
I know.
doesn't understand it.
I know. Nevertheless, that's what you get.
Delightful. Okay, so the dawn breaks inside the hut. It's slightly less as intrusive. The bright light of the sun, it's the translucent effect makes it so that it's pleasant and it doesn't blindingly shoot into your eyes and cause you to wake up. So you are free to wake up as calmly and sleep in as late as you want. You were told 11 hours, and then you guys were awake for about 2 more hours as you delved deep into secrets unknown for centuries. So, yeah. You slept 8 hours. You got about an hour until you were told someone would be arriving.
I will go hunt with El Gato, just for him to get some food, and I'll help him to wrangle small beasts and and make him play as well. Like, just be with him. That's it.
Wonderful.
Are we doing the?
Actually, well, as but I'll do it later when Lena will do it later when Kelda is back. She's going to use the cauldron again. But yeah, it feels so dirty after last night.
I feel
can create
fine.
a whole bunch of water, but I need a container.
Like hot water or cold water?
I can help with the cold.
It's cold. I mean, it's temperature. Water.
It's temperature.
I mean,
okay,
room
sure.
temperature water.
I think. Okay, yeah, I've seen this in the bathhouse that they have there at Hammerfest. That they have like these huge, like pools that people can just get into, and it's very but it's like hot water. Like I did it once with Redwin, and she was like, "Yeah, this is kind of cool," and I find it cool as well.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so Lena is going to spend her her daily performance of creation, and she's going to create a jacuzzi for
And Mara goes and when the jacuzzi is ready, she cuts water. Create water.
Yeah, it's going to be a medium-sized, I don't know how big is medium-sized for a jacuzzi, but I guess it'll fit at least 2 people.
Like 1 person.
Oh.
2 gnomes.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I'll
that's
make it
weird.
140 gold pieces worth of material. So that's... I'm just going to spend all of it.
Jacuzzi.
Yeah, we can take turns.
I can create more water.
That's not a
clean
problem.
it.
You need more jacuzzis.
14th level, I'll make it really big for everybody. just wait up.
You can wait.
So yeah, Lena's going to create a squared. Actually, if it's gonna be medium for just one person, it's going to be like one of these really nice bathtubs that they show in Home and Health. And just fill it with water.
Wonderful. So there, I guess, Keldav, after a productive hunt where you got El Gato to chase after some, maybe some goats, some birds, tried to get him to sneak to not such a great degree, some exercise and some food, you come back to an even more domestic scene than you left, as you've gone from glamping to a vacation home.
I imagine Keldav almost like, yeah, we're ready. We're camping. This is good.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Not my
So
fault.
Mara she's already in the bathtub, but she has like this some sort of swimsuit. So she's there.
Sure.
Man, I actually didn't think of that. I need to think of what would Lena wear for.
Mara wants
that
to be
situation.
naked. No, she's not.
No, Lena is not in a I'm gonna be naked situation here at all. So she's also gonna be wearing something, but she's also gonna be wearing the hat.
I don't know. I just
I
imagine.
don't
I
want
imagine
to-
Keldav being naked. Like he doesn't even care about. It's not like exhibition. It's like, I mean, if we're doing this, we're doing this.
I don't want to sound creepy, but Sitch will be only looking.
Actually, Siege, can you hold this for me? And she's going to give you like her whole gear,
Sure.
except for the hat, and she's going to.
Yes, you can use Sitch as a wardrobe.
Yep.
Johan is oblivious to all of this. He just emerges from the dome. I use prestidigitation to clean myself. I'm in new clothes. It's like, oh yeah, the Wizard of Harken is here. What the fuck is going on?
I'm helping.
I can. Are we on vacation? We should
I
be.
know.
And you hear Keldav coming from the woods, dirty, saying, apparently.
We should be waiting for the reward, right?
Well, waiting we are. I don't know where they are, but they're gonna be, I don't know, in like an hour. So why not just relax, have a proper breakfast, have a proper morning? Also, the cauldron is right there set up. You can eat from there.
I don't need to eat. And I point to my
Yeah, the
gem
orbiting
daddies.
Ironstone.
So what do? Just
And
exist?
Keldav looks jealously.
Yeah, I do more than exist. Then I'm
So-
going to return to my dome. You do your stuff. It's fine. And I go back to my dome.
So he doesn't eat food.
I just ask everybody.
No, and when you say that, you hear Keldav, he's lucky.
Sadly,
He's lucky.
no.
Like, there's nothing better than eating. I mean, not really eating, like to, get big, but just trying things, just trying flavors.
All
There's
I'm
nothing-
hearing from here is that you like pooping. Do you like pooping?
Well,
That is,
Yeah.
that is the
look.
best question I've heard in a D&D game ever. Do you like pooping?
I'm gonna roll for that.
Because that food
15.
has to get out some way.
well, sometimes when you experiment with things go badly. So you just eat well, and then the results are good.
That sounds unclean. I don't want to hear about that.
I eat
You
a herb
asked.
before. Johan had to remove it.
Yeah.
Wait. Wait, can you repeat that? Because I heard something different.
I eat a fork before. Johan has
Fork.
to remove
A
it.
fork.
Fork.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
Not the
just,
car.
I heard something completely different. I was like,
I
what?
don't
But
know
no,
if I want to know what you hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say. No,
Did you roll to know if you like pooping?
yeah, I rolled a 15. So I mean, it's not like Lena likes it. Like nobody does, of
she
course.
loves it. No, she loves it.
but she's a very visual person, so she has to draw everything, you know.
Oh no! Why do you do that?
Because
You know that this is going to YouTube, right?
yeah, because Alejandro is better than me at role playing. That's why. And also life.
Sam will get next to Siege and go, digestion seems messy. Power sources
Yeah.
are much more efficient.
Yeah, that's what I'm
100%
saying.
agree.
You're praying to the choir here.
I'm not a choir. I'm a Warforged.
Ah, Jesus.
It's a turn of phrase. It doesn't mean what the words mean. It means a pre-established meaning. But if you don't know the pre-established meaning, it can be confusing.
Keep thinking. I will keep thinking.
Sure. Any other delightful vignettes that you wish to have in the morning? Or shall we fast forward to the advancing as you
So I
hear...
say,
Yeah.
Well,
On record,
I'm-
Alejandro brought the pooping in. I didn't mention any of that.
Well, you were poking at the eating, which is a known
Well,
issue
that-
of the character.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. It's unclear.
But Lena didn't know that. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
all
some
good.
more time passes. You may be in as presentable a state as you want, as you hear the clopping of hooves that you recognize very similar to Penelope, but this is 4 or 5, and they sound heavier. Like, and
Okay.
then there's the jangling of armor as you realize. Whoop.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Diego went.
He just removed.
Yeah. As you hear, yeah, these goats that are coming are armored. And you realize this is at least a force of guards from Hammerfast, maybe more. So you have a few, 10, 15 seconds as you hear them approaching along the road, and then you see indeed a small group of 5 armored goats carrying the armored dwarves atop them. They are not galloping, but they are moving faster than a walk. And they, of course, knew which tunnel you guys had reported the incidents are, and they knew that they were approaching, so they know that they are arriving close to their destination, and when they see you, they slow down a bit and canter towards you, and you see the captain in the lead dismounts and introduces himself as Guard Captain Marwin Steelboot, and confirms that you are the adventurers who called in the sightings of Kruthix and evidence of a kingfisher, and moreover that you then reported that the monsters were slain.
Did you saw the body in your way here?
I believe you guys went to the other...
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are closer to Hammerfest. The tunnel
Oh,
is
fuck.
inward. So
I
they
thought-
met
I
you
thought that
before
we-
coming into the tunnel. Yeah.
Oh, then I didn't ask
Yes.
that.
Is the captain from Hammerfast
Yes.
itself, or is it representing? Okay, cool. I was wondering if it was representing the Lord Guild in any way.
Yeah, it's possible that you saw him or some other member of the guard behind him, just wandering around Hammerfest. This is not a captain that is posted at one of the gates on the gate ward that most of the group had gone through. He's stationed in barracks inside the city itself. When you confirm,
do we knew him from before?
no.
First time.
It's first time that you're meeting him.
Mhm.
And when you confirm, he nods towards you and he moves and opens the entrance to the tunnel with a token as that they carry, and they shift it to the side, and then he takes from the satchel a small diamond-shaped bronze emblem, and you see as he steps into the tunnel, you guys can follow him if you want, but you see he goes and he places it on one of the walls. Just goes into the tunnel, turns, and places it on the wall, and then he presses his thumb into the center of it, and you hear a click, and when he pulls it back, there's a small drop of blood, and it fades in, and you see as the diamond suddenly spreads out, and it delineates a wall, and then it's a 5-foot wall, and then it begins to mark, and you realize it's a door, a small, like 5-foot by 5-foot door that would be slightly awkward for the taller members of you to fit through, but it's wide enough for a dwarf to come through. And as it finishes, it becomes translucent, and you see stepping through these figures. You see 3 dwarves come stepping through, including led by this lady. Show to players, yes. As a dwarven woman with
she looks cool.
tan skin, and you see that she is clearly an arcane practitioner of some kind, as the orb is settling into her hand, as she seems to have activated the other side of this mechanism and is now stepping through. Behind her, you see Maravilla. You recognize this woman as not someone you know, but as a member of the faith of Moradin, a high-ranking member. She's a young woman, maybe someone who perhaps knew your grandmother. Like when your grandmother was at her height, she may have been studying at the time. Like she's a little over 100 years old, but clearly still adventuring. And next to them, you see a large, for a dwarf, like a hulking figure covered in very spiky armor, and there are 2 axes slung from the belt, as what Maravilla and maybe Lena would recognize as a, how do you call it, a Kuldjarg, a battle rager, a dwarf barbarian who covers themselves in spiky armor, such that if they get swallowed by a monster, the monster takes more damage from trying to eat them than the
cool.
battle rager does.
Can I use detect magic?
I mean, you could have done it as the portal was opening.
Yeah.
Like that took probably 20-30 seconds. So yeah, you notice this is creating a doorway. It's physically connecting 2 locations, but all of the magic is coming from the other side. The item that the guard captain was carrying was simply an identifier of, like,
Here.
Go here, and the blood was to say, like, this is the authorized user who was given this, activating the effect. So as you see this trio of high-level adventurers step through, you realize these would have been the people coming to kill the Kingfisher worm. And they look at your group, and there's, let's see, here, Keldav, I think it would be evident to you as you're looking at them, you're like, they don't have a Lina or a Gufran. They don't have a face person. Like, these are all gruff, serious, business-oriented people. So you see as the wizard is stepping forward, looks around at you and says, "You're the heroes of Harkin? You called in the infestation?"
Aye, aye.
Okay. We'll verify the creature and make sure that no Kruthix escaped. Can you show us to the corpse?
Let's go.
Sure.
Sorry, yes, sir.
And you step forward as I think Lina and Maravilla can both give me history checks with advantage. As you, now that they begin to move, you see the face of the Battle Rager, who is much older, heavily scarred, black hair, no trace of white. Ooh. I think Lina.
14 for me.
Yeah, you were looking at the two women, and it was clear that these were powerful women, like a powerful arcane caster, a powerful divine. But then you see the guy, and you're like, he reminds you of someone. Like, yeah, there's several Kuldyargs that are famous, but there's missing something. Like, this guy was famous when he was younger. Like, you've seen plays around this guy, but he had a brother. And this guy who's behind him is Horbeck Deeprock. He was part of the original members of the Deep Delve, who were...
Wait. Yeah.
The Deep Delve is the adventuring group, and the guy that you recognize is Kuldyarg, that's his title, Horbeck Deeprock. And you're like, these guys have been famous for centuries. Like, they were called the Deep Delve because they would go deeper than the cities in the Dawnforge Mountains. Like, when dangers were coming from below the cities to threaten them, these guys would go in and stop the threat.
But
Do I
such a cool
have
name.
do I have any recollection of that?
I don't think so, Siege. You're like, you.
Say centuries,
These
but
names
I
don't
never
ring
knew.
a bell.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So this is from either before your time and definitely from a different continent to where you were
Gotcha.
going. Like, these are the problem solvers that the Dwarven kingdoms would call. When they
okay.
had Duergar or Drow messing with them, these are the guys that get sent in to deal with the issue.
I was busy fighting demons. Gotcha.
Yeah. They were the Deep Delve because they were the Deep Rock brothers. And there's only the one guy who's coming through here.
And they wait. So remind me when we went for to free Eldera, is that the same? Because I don't remember
No.
what the name of our.
You haven't met
our-
these people before, but you
Okay.
remember a play was set in the theater in Hammerfest about the exploits of the Deep Delve, and the main
Was it-
characters were two brothers, and it was Carl Deeprock and Horbeck Deeprock.
Carl.
Yeah,
Was it like was the play something that a lot of people went to see? Like,
Yeah.
was it like
This is what-
like an event for
yes,
for the theater?
and it was
Okay.
for the theater manager was a time to put on a big extravagant production to create a somewhat puppeted large monster that was part of the final like big action set piece that was fought. So these are
And that was okay.
they're not
And that would have
quite
been before
living
my
legends,
time.
but they've been well-known heroes for a long time.
I remember that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Was it was the play from before I arrived to Hammerfest probably? Because I've been there
It was written, yes, it was written
some
well
years.
before you arrived, but it was put on while you were there.
Okay, so I would have probably made props for that.
Sure.
DM,
Okay.
magic items on them.
Yeah, all armor.
From what I can see,
the
these
large
are
ball of the
the
cleric.
real deal.
Yes, and you notice the robes of the wizard are heavily enchanted and protective, to the point where you're like, oh, those would be nice. Like, you remember when you had a big suit of protection, and you're like, right, if you add enough magic to comfortable clothes, they can still be very protective. And that's what she's carrying. And the orb that she used to focus on and open the gate is also a powerful focus. And as they approach, they begin asking you questions, you hear the very deep voice of Horbeck going like, "So who killed it?" And it
I
was
don't remember.
Gufran as a
I don't
giant
remember. I
ape.
think it was Gufran. Yeah.
Ah,
Gufran like, I punched it, but I was bigger. How big was the worm? And you guys can like, he asks you questions as you realize that the size of the tunnel that you're in, the 30 by 30 foot tunnel, the worm was a little smaller than that, but not by much. It was 25 feet across. And you realize as they're noting all this, they ask like, did you go into the gullet and remove all of the treasures within? And they smile. Like they ask to see like what you got, like, because they've been there before. So up to you guys. Do you like show them the gems? And that, like, if you guys mention the chunk of adamantite, they would go like, "Oh, lucky, rare stuff."
Very rare.
How many of these have you killed before? Have you ever killed one of these before? And like, are the stories true?
Like the one we killed was a juvenile. I assume that you got to fight a really big one.
Like the big one.
Any you got swallowed?
It almost killed our commander.
I raised
Yeah.
I raised the hand.
That acid burns. Can't forget
Yes,
that.
it does.
Yes, it does.
I will not.
Yeah, and he sort of points to the wizard and says, "Beryl had to jump in after me. Gate us out of there."
Oh, I don't think I would have done that, but that sounds very courageous. You guys are so cool.
As they're moving, Beryl sort of...
If you got this job, how long did it take for you? Like, how
Juvenile.
quickly?
Probably a day to set the bait. If we're lucky, we get it at the first fight. Otherwise, we have to chase it down the tunnel.
So, if I have to say so myself, we did an splendid job. Because we just encountered the creature. I'm saying this to myself, but out loud.
Yeah.
I mean,
I believe we're the bait.
Yeah, but
Technically,
So-
the Kruthix were the bait.
That's true.
solve one problem with another. Huh. Oh, graceful.
So they move with you, and as they approach the intersection where the corpse is, and the tunnels go deeper within, they ask to split up, and some people to go in with them through the tunnels, and the others to stay up here as they inspect the body. So who would like to
Oh,
go
I-
into the tunnels?
I want to go to the tunnels, to the Krufix.
Yeah, lead them
Yeah.
to the Kruthic nest.
I want to go.
Okay.
Yeah, Lena's gonna go that way as well, simply because she already took all the notes from the Kingfisher worm, so she wants to go back down just to see the area.
I
that
need some parts from the Krufix because I didn't have the chance to get some.
I will offer Siege for carry anything you want.
No need. If you want to stay, you can stay. I have the means to carry everything that we got.
Without hesitation, we'll keep here.
Wonderful.
So they are all going into
No.
the tunnel?
The person going into the tunnels is Stonefist. Let me check her name.
Nalin.
Yeah, Nalin Derdak. She's headed into the tunnels. And you realize she's probably going to use some spells to locate creature to look for the Kruthics. Make sure that none of them escaped. And several of the, like 4 of the guards, including the captain, go with her. And they leave
Did
their goats
we-
up with the one guard up there, and they head down.
If I remember correctly, we destroyed some of the eggs, but I don't remember if we destroyed all of the eggs.
No, most of the eggs that were in a hatch in a state that could be hatched had been prematurely hatched by the Hive Lord. And then you guys fled because the Kingfisher worm was about to arrive in that instant.
But we killed the Hive Lord.
You killed the Hive Lord, yes.
That renders mute the whole thing, I think.
The Hive disbands and is going to avoid returning for a very long time until there is no trace of the terrible stench that happens after they decay. The rotten egg smell that characterizes the Kruthic corpse. So the Horbeck and Beryl stay up at the surface and inspect the body of the Kingfisher worm. And one thing that, if anyone also takes a look at the worm with them, would realize, they work past where you guys had found the gems to the deeper stomach of the creature. And along the way, they confirmed that this was a juvenile worm, but still incredibly dangerous. And then there's a moment where they pause, and in the tunnels, you would have seen, as you're going through and you begin finding these strange twists where the tunnel splits and then sort of joins back together. After the second time that you find a strange intersection like that, the Stonefist stops and focuses and does a sending back to her party that you would recognize. Lena has cast this spell before. Maravilla has cast a similar spell, sending a message back describing what they're seeing. And Beryl sort of looks and goes, how many times did the tunnels loop around on each other? Was it constant? Were there sections of isolated tunnels? Was it?
No, it was really like.
I would imagine Kilduff exactly knows that answer.
Yeah.
Me, Diego, does not.
Yeah.
And
So you describe all the looping and
Yeah.
the fact that even the tunnels heading north that you didn't explore, you know for a fact that the worm went on a very long loop roundabout to end up back in the same place. And as you're describing that, she asks the barbarian to split open the skull of the Kingfisher, which was mostly quite easy to do now that you guys had done it. So he does it from the inside, like he stands inside the mouth and brings out both weapons, and you see one is a pickaxe on one end and a hammer on the other, and the other is a hammer and an axe blade. And he slams the pickaxe and then turns the axe around so that he's using the hammer end and begins and breaks it open, and then turns to use the axe and begins widening the spot to like dive in and access the brain. And then he comes out with a chunk of start decomposing matter and hands it to Beryl, who you see doesn't touch it. She lifts her orb, and the chunk begins to spin slowly in front of her. And then Horbeck puts the two axes back on the belt and dives deeper into the digestive system. And as she's studying, she's looking at the brain. No abnormalities. And then after about 5 minutes, Horbeck comes back up. It ate too many mushrooms. Wouldn't have worked on a big one. An adult. Stomach's too strong. This one probably found a mushroom farm down there. Myconids or something. Stoned off its rocker. Looping around, couldn't get a beat on it.
Right.
So, yeah, they, with their additional experience and willingness to delve past the valuable treasure, they solve the mystery of why this Kingfisher worm was moving around in spaces where there wasn't that much food. And they verify your deeds. Had it been a full-grown Kingfisher worm, the reward would have been slightly bigger, but you are still within a remarkable order of magnitude. And when Beryl sort of turns and confirms it to the guard, she reaches into a pouch and extracts 3 decent-sized metal chests and sets them on the ground, and then she takes out a long, thin wooden box, and she pops it open, and there are several healing potions of varying rarities in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, and by the time the guards have reached the nest, and the Stonefist has pointed out that there were no Kruthiks remaining, and there were a few
Bless you.
eggs that wouldn't be hatched, and you see several of the guards stay there and begin smashing them apart. The rest of you come back up with a Stonefist, and you are presented with the valuable treasure for the optional encounters that you achieved. And I will tell you, I'm just going to post it in the chat as you get... The first chest that you open is halfway full of silver. Over 1,000 silver pieces. The middle chest is completely full of gold, as it's exactly 2,500 gold pieces, neatly stacked until there's no more room inside the chest. And then the final one, by far the most valuable, is a little over halfway full of platinum pieces.
Fuck.
As you are holding over 13,000 gold in just valuable coins. And then you look at the slim case of potions, and there are at least a dozen. You see there's 8 regular healing potions, there's 4 superior healings, there's 2 supreme healing, and 5. There's a lot of potions. And you realize, as you're making just a quick count, if you were to buy those potions, that's over 5,000 gold in potions. So your total reward is closer to 20,000 gold worth, and that's not counting the gems you got out of the worm, as you are now looking at more wealth than you got for saving thousands of people in Harkin. Like, this is a significant, like, if you found a castle that was slightly broken down, you could repair it and make it livable with this. Or you could, like, build yourselves a nice tower with this.
So we can just retire.
Yeah.
Do we still need to rent a boat? Can we buy one?
Depending on the size of boat,
I wouldn't buy one.
yeah. It wouldn't be a really big boat. But you could rent a really big boat.
We can rent one.
There's a very good phrase that says the best day of buying a boat is when you sell a boat.
I heard that too. Yes.
You just need to add it a secret compartment with weapons.
Fucking cart.
So, as you are standing there looking at the incredible reward of very much a couple of hours where you risked your lives, you realize heroics pay sometimes very well, and your future currently has significant possibilities that it did not have before, including you could just buy some really cool armor for your mounts if you wanted to. You could get a whole bunch of extra amenities if you want to take your glamping experience to the next level. There are
Glamping.
many things that are possible, as Sam would say, obtaining goods and services. And
Voy a hacer los cálculos para la división de oro, división
Sure.
entre 6.
Okay.
so
We're
we'll
going to divide the gold.
yes, and you can decide how you have the healing potions and then the gemstones and so forth. And we'll call an end to the session there, as you get the just rewards of 4 sessions of adventuring and some high level combat.
Whoa.
By the way, we haven't yet left Harkin.
No.
Yeah,
We
you
haven't
are
left
you
the
are at the
tunnel that
border
goes-
of
yeah.
you're
Yeah, we
almost
haven't
off
left.
the local area map, and you are now leaving with significant wealth.
Yeah, if we take one more step, we'll be farther away from home
Than you've
we've
ever
ever
been.
been.
Exactly.
Daniel, do we have enough material for C to improve his weapons?
You definitely have. Well, you have the adamantite. That could certainly be useful if you can get it refined. You certainly have the resources that you could buy materials and buy access to the kind of facilities that would be required to upgrade them.
Estoy ocupando una página que di.
In English, please.
I'm using a
What page?
Yes.
web page that splits money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to trust this. It says that everyone has 271 platinum, 1 silver, 6 copper, and we have a leftover of 4 copper.
Wonderful.
Can you write that down? I could not
Yeah.
Put it in
write
the
that.
chat as
Put
you
it in
each
the
get.
chat, please.
Silver. And this is 6.
You can
Money.
use the 4 copper to buy yourselves a round of cheap ale.
I will end up using all my encumbers only in gold. I haven't used anything that
And this is if we transfer everything to platinum, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes,
the
it's
thing
easier.
Just did it. I can scroll
So.
that.
Thanks everyone for watching. This was more of a relaxing episode after the intense battles of the last ones, and we hope to continue next time as they finally leave the Nentir Vale and see what's on the other side of the Dawnforge Mountains.
I want to see my brothers.
Yep. First have to get to the sea, and then
Yeah.
you have to cross the sea.
Yeah.
And then we need to find the mountain. And then we need to find your
for the
brother.
next year.
Listen, I'm hopeful for 2025.
Yeah.
In the
Anyway,
meantime,
but
In the
I'm just
meantime.
gonna say this. That's being naive.
yeah, that's true.
Anyway, thank you everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks
In
for
the meantime,
watching.
thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and everything YouTube like.
a
Thanks so
comment.
much. And Elena, we love you. We miss you.
We missed you so much.
We are going to see you next time. So everyone, say bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye bye, everybody.